Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League Point Predictor, the series where I select 5 players that I believe will score 4 points or more in the upcoming FPL game week. Within these selections, I must include one defensive option, alongside 2 midfielders and 2 forwards, with one of each of those having to be valued below the price of 8 million. Also, I'm limited to choosing just one player per team. Before we start making predictions for Game Week 30, let's take a quick look back at my choices from last game week, where I managed to achieve a very pleasing 4 out of 5 correct selections. My budget options Glenn Murray and Daryl Janmaat both delivered for me, alongside the 2 bankers Salah and Kane, with just Arnautovic letting me down for the full house. So in light of this 4 out of 5 correct predictions, let's see if we can hit 100 likes on this video in celebration of me not making abysmal choices for a change. A special congratulations as well goes to 2 players who both submitted their choices and achieved an incredible 5 out of 5 correct predictions. So well done to Mohamed Abdel Sayed and Tim Franson, who both made some genius choices last week. Here's to hoping that you both actually own some of these players in your teams rather than just predicting them. If you fancy your chances of getting 5 out of 5 correct selections and earning yourself a shout out in the next video, simply follow the link in the description and submit your own Point Predictor picks for Game Week 30 there. So without further ado, let's move on now to Game Week 30's Point Predictor. For my defensive option this week, I've selected Everton's Seamus Coleman. Usually in the Point Predictor, I prefer to go with my gut, but for this choice I'm going against the gut and relying heavily on the stats instead. Looking at the form of the 2 sides, my gut says Brighton will score here, as they've been playing very well lately, but the stats suggest differently. In 14 attempts this season, Brighton have only managed 7 goals away from home. That's the league's worst away scoring record, joint with bottom of the league West Brom. From the Everton side of things, their home form has actually been pretty decent, which suggests a good chance of a clean sheet. In the last 8 games at home, Everton have won 5 and only lost 1. And within those 8 games, they've only conceded just 6 goals. As always, I've selected a very attack-minded defender anyway, and as Seamus Coleman proved in his previous performance, he can always pop up with a goal or an assist. For the budget midfielder, I've chosen Arsenal's Mkhitaryan. Originally, I felt that Watford could get a result here at Arsenal. There's no doubt they'll be up for it, given how the reverse of this fixture played out earlier in the season, with Troy Deeney scoring and then accusing Arsenal of being an easy team to play. But looking at Arsenal's impressive away victory at Milan on Thursday, coupled with the fact that Watford's away form is pretty dreadful, I decided to choose an Arsenal player here. Watford have not won a game on the road since November, and since then they've gone on to lose 7 of the last 8 away games, only avoiding defeat once in that time, and that was against Stoke City. Having played on Thursday, Arsenal would likely be tired, and they're still certainly vulnerable, so Watford still have a chance here. But given their poor away form, that suggests a goal or 2 could be on the cards for Arsenal, who have actually been very strong at home before their defeat to Man City. With Mkhitaryan being a pretty influential attacking midfielder, hopefully I've picked the right option here, but Aaron Ramsey was too a consideration. For the any price midfielder, Riyad Mahrez was certainly a strong contender here, but I simply have to fit a Man City player in here somewhere this game week, as I see them being too good for Stoke City. Leroy Sané and David Silva are the in-form midfielders, but I'm opting for the ever-consistent Kevin De Bruyne instead. Following 2 blanks from him, I fancy him to get back in the points this game week, especially after being rested in their Champions League game midweek. Their opponents Stoke have conceded 33 goals at home this season. That's the most of any team in the league. Now they've certainly tightened that up a bit since Paul Lambert took charge, but even still, I can't see him masterminding anything against this irresistible City side, who are in a league of their own this season. For the budget striker, it was a complete coin toss for me between Watford's Troy Deeney and Huddersfield's Steve Mounier, and I've taken what I believe to be more of a gamble by opting for Steve Mounier. Over the last 4 game weeks, Troy Deeney's stats show him to be having a lot more touches further up the pitch than Mounier, but in terms of goal scoring and chances created, they're about level. This means that Mounier has been a lot more effective with his limited chances, and on paper he has a much more favourable fixture. In Game Week 30 he faces Swansea, and despite their excellent form recently, all of the good stuff they've done has come at home, and Swansea's away form has been pretty woeful, only winning one of the last 12 games on the road. Before Huddersfield's respectable 2-0 defeat to Spurs, they won both the previous two, with Mounier getting 2 goals and 2 assists in those. And finally, for the any price striker, I'm sticking with Harry Kane, as I aim to achieve 5 out of 5 guesses for the first time this season. Manchester United and Liverpool play each other this game week, which is a difficult one to call, and I've already selected a Manchester City option, which leaves me with the ever reliable Tottenham man, as he looks to respond after a tough defeat in the Champions League midweek. Hopefully I'm not jinxing things here, but this is the type of game that I fancy to be a bit of a goal fest, with both Bournemouth and Spurs being very attack-minded teams. Harry Kane has now returned points in 6 of the last 7 game weeks, so let's hope he can continue that for Game Week 30. And that completes the point predictor for Game Week 30. Congratulations again to the 2 players who guessed all 5 correct last week. If you fancy your chances of doing the same, then follow the link in the description and earn yourself a shout out in the next video. Be sure as always to help support this channel by dropping a like on the video and subscribing for more FPL content. Good luck to you all for Game Week 30, and I'll catch you all next week.